Now, as the president of the DRC requested the UN to leave the country, in the same breath, he asked for help from the SADC region, right? The South African Development Community, to send soldiers and assist him with the situation that the DRC is facing, right? SADC agreed to send soldiers to the DRC. SADC agreed to send about 5,000 soldiers, right? In which about 2,900 soldiers are from the South African National Defense Forces. The two other countries which are sending soldiers as part of this South African Development Community mission, right, the SADC mission to Congo, is Malawi and Tanzania. Now, since this mission is a SADC region mission, right, not necessarily a South African mission, it means a lot of the finances and the support will come from this SADC body. Now, when you watch the news, right, and there have been a few articles released by particularly the Citizen, right, it seems as if this is a South African mission to assist Congo, but it is not. It is a SADC mission that is led by South Africa, right? So a lot of the military support and financial costs will come from SADC. Now, this article by The Citizen, right, stated that about 600 members or 600 soldiers from the SANDF, right, have about 6 toilets for them to use, right? It also stated that there are no doctors, right? There are no nurses, right? There are no kitchens and proper food for the soldiers, and stated that there is no training budget allocated to them. Now, I want to try and clarify a few things about I would say, the nefarious nature or suspicious nature of this article, right? Now, when you deploy soldiers, you deploy them in phases, right? And the fact that they mentioned that there are no doctors, no kitchen, and no whatever, right? Training budget. It's because the deployment of soldiers is still in its first phase, right? They haven't started building military bases. The first 600 soldiers which have been deployed there, right, are particularly to analyze the situation, to check what is needed, and how the logistics should be structured, right? Now, when it refers to no doctors and no whatever, no doctors, no nurses, no kitchens, it 6 toilets. It also mentions things about 6 toilets. It is particularly mentioning, right, the equipment, the doctors, the nurses, and toilets which have been pulled out by the UN, right? The UN was mostly the supplier of these things in the Congo. Now, since the DRC has requested the UN to pull out or to basically leave the country, they will leave with a lot of things that they came with: the doctors, the nurses, the training budgets, and the toilets, right? So now, what they are talking about is what was left by the UN, right? And the 600 soldiers are just there to check the situation out and prepare for the rest of the soldiers which will be deployed in phases. So the first few guys are there just to make sure that, okay, we need that, we need that, we need that. There's this problem, right? When the other soldiers are deployed, in the second, third, and fourth phase, right, those soldiers will be coming with whatever is needed that the first 600 soldiers stated that would be needed. The article goes on to say that there is no aircraft or supporting, why can I so airplane cargo that they came with. This is still the initial phase of deployment to assess the situation and create a list of the things that are needed. Now, when it comes to transporting equipment, the DRC has offered to transport a lot of equipment that belongs to the SANDF, right? Now, even the DRC doesn't have much capabilities, but the logistics are still being discussed and ironed out at this stage. And some of the military equipment that has been deployed in Mozambique, right, as South Africa winds down its mission there, right, some of the equipment will move to the DRC to be used by the second phase deployment or third phase deployment of the SANDF. This is expected to happen in about 3-4 months. Yeah, this video is released in early April. So the equipment that has been in use or in service in Mozambique will start moving to the DRC around June, July 2024. Now, because the UN mission is coming to a close, right, we must understand the nature of the UN mission which was occurring there. Firstly, it was a defensive um, type of mission, right? And it was of a peacekeeping nature, right? So when the UN pulls out, it's going to pull out all of that machine, and South Africans or the SADC region deployed forces will need to build bases from scratch, right? Not defensive bases or peacekeeping mission bases, but now the nature of the military bases that will be built from scratch will be of an attacking nature,